Most people don't fail because of lack of talent. They don't fail because they weren't given opportunities. They fail because they sabotage themselves every single day with the wrong habits. I'm Tony Robbins, and today I want to show you that if you change just 6 habits, 6 simple daily actions, you can completely transform your attitude, your energy, and your entire life when you wake up. The first thing you focus on determines the direction of your entire day. Most people grab their phones, scroll through social media, check emails, and instantly put themselves in reaction mode. That's why they feel stressed, distracted, or overwhelmed before the day has even begun. Winners operate differently. They choose to prime their mind and heart with gratitude. Gratitude is not just saying, "Thank you." It's an emotional state that rewires your nervous system. When you train your brain to notice what's good, what's working, what's already present in your life, you shift from scarcity to abundance. And when you shift to abundance, you create energy. Gratitude starves fear. It annihilates anger. It kills the feeling of helplessness. You can't be angry and grateful at the same time. You can't be fearful and grateful simultaneously. So when you wake up and deliberately list 3 things you're deeply grateful for, your health, the people you love, the opportunities you have, even the challenges that are shaping you, you set a new standard for how you show up. Don't just think gratitude, feel it. Let it fill your body. When you live in gratitude, problems shrink, solutions expand, and your resilience multiplies. Gratitude is not optional if you want to live with a winning attitude. It's essential fuel for your soul. Now let's talk about energy, because gratitude gets your heart in the right state, but motion gets your body ready for battle. Winners understand that if you want to change your psychology, you must first change your physiology. Most people wait for motivation before they act, but the truth is action creates motivation. If you want to feel strong, start moving strong. If you want energy, start using energy. When you move your body, even for 10 minutes, you release endorphins, you activate your nervous system, you unlock clarity and focus. This isn't about becoming a professional athlete. It's about mastering your state. Go for a walk, jump, stretch, do push-ups, dance, whatever it takes to wake your body up and prime your mind for greatness. Winners don't let their energy be dictated by external circumstances. They create it from within. Every single day you move your body, you're teaching yourself discipline, resilience, and control. Motion creates emotion. When you move with power, you feel powerful. When you feel powerful, you make decisions that align with strength, not weakness. And when you string together days of gratitude and energy, you're no longer living life by accident. You're living by design. That is the edge that separates those who drift from those who dominate. Focus is power. Where focus goes, energy flows. The problem is, most people allow the world to hijack their attention. They're pulled in 1,000 directions, news headlines, emails, endless notifications, other people's opinions, and then they wonder why they feel drained, unfulfilled, and stuck. A winning attitude doesn't come from trying to do everything. It comes from knowing what matters most and committing your energy there. You've got to ask yourself every single day, what's the outcome I want? Not the task, not the to-do list, but the outcome. When you live with clarity of outcome, distractions lose their power. Instead of drifting into other people's agendas, you design your own path. Focus is not about intensity for 5 minutes, it's about consistency over time. A laser cuts through steel not because it's strong in every direction, but because it concentrates its power in one. When you focus, your life compounds. You grow faster, you execute better, and you experience momentum others can't touch. The difference between mediocrity and mastery is the ability to say no to the noise and yes to the mission. That is the discipline of champions, protecting focus as if it were oxygen. Because the truth is, it is. Without focus, energy leaks, potential dies, and dreams fade. With focus, nothing is impossible. But focus without purpose is like a car without fuel. You won't go far. That's why you need purpose. Purpose is the ultimate driver of resilience. It's the fire that keeps you grinding when the results haven't shown up yet. It's the anchor that holds you steady when storms hit. Too many people live without a sense of why, so they chase short-term highs that leave them empty. Purpose gives meaning to pain. It transforms suffering into fuel. When you know why you're doing something, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone instead of a roadblock. Purpose isn't found in a book or waiting in the clouds. It's created by aligning your gifts with service, by deciding to live for something greater than yourself. When you discover a purpose that excites you, scares you, and pulls you forward, you wake up differently. You don't need to be pushed. You're pulled. You don't beg for discipline. It flows from within. And when you combine focus and purpose, you become unstoppable. Focus channels your energy. Purpose gives it meaning. And together they build a life that's not just successful, but significant. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary, by living with ruthless focus and unshakable purpose every single day. Momentum is everything. You don't need to have it all figured out to move forward. You just need to start. Too many people wait for the perfect plan, the perfect conditions, the perfect moment. But perfection is a trap. Progress, not perfection, is the standard of growth. When you take action, even small, imperfect, messy action, you generate energy. That energy builds confidence, and confidence builds more action. It becomes a loop, a cycle that compounds over time. Momentum isn't about giant leaps. It's about consistent steps stacked on top of each other until the breakthrough arrives. Think about it, a plane uses most of its fuel during takeoff, not cruising. The hardest part is lifting off. But once you're in motion, gravity loses its grip. Life is the same way. The first push is tough, but every small move you make strengthens your capacity, increases your certainty, and amplifies your results. Stop waiting, stop hesitating, just start. That single step ignites momentum, and momentum is the secret weapon that separates dreamers from achievers. But momentum without adaptability is dangerous, because here's the truth: life will punch you in the mouth. The plan will fall apart. The market will shift. The economy will change. People will disappoint you. If you're rigid, you break. If you're adaptable, you bend but don't break. You come back stronger. Resilience is not just about pushing through. It's about being flexible enough to shift strategies while never losing sight of the ultimate vision. The most successful people aren't the ones with the most resources. They're the ones who can pivot the fastest. Adaptability is the art of seeing setbacks as setups, of finding opportunity where others see dead ends. When you adopt the mindset that life is happening for you, not to you, every curveball becomes a training ground. You stop resisting change and start leveraging it. Adaptability turns pressure into progress, chaos into clarity, obstacles into openings. This is how you stay in the game long enough to win, because life doesn't reward the strongest or the smartest. It rewards the most adaptable. Combine relentless momentum with unshakable adaptability, and you become a force of nature, unstoppable, resilient, and ready for anything. Gratitude is the ultimate game changer. You can have all the success in the world, but if you don't master gratitude, you'll never feel fulfilled. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already present. It's not about settling. It's about fueling your soul with appreciation so you operate from abundance instead of scarcity. When you live in gratitude, stress loses its power. Fear loses its grip. You can't be angry and grateful at the same time. You can't be fearful and grateful at the same time. Gratitude rewires your brain. It primes your nervous system to look for possibility instead of problems. Start your day with 3 things you're grateful for, and watch how it transforms your energy. Gratitude doesn't mean you don't chase growth. It means you chase it from a place of strength instead of lack. Gratitude magnifies joy, builds connection, and gives you resilience when life hits hard. The secret isn't to get more, it's to appreciate more. Gratitude unlocks fulfillment, and fulfillment is the ultimate victory. But gratitude alone isn't enough. You must pair it with relentless contribution. Life isn't about just what you get, it's about what you give. If you want to feel alive, if you want to feel unstoppable, then make your life about serving something bigger than yourself. Contribution is the deepest human need because it creates meaning. Money, fame, possessions, they can all disappear. But what you give, what you build in others, that's eternal. Contribution multiplies your energy. When you stop obsessing over your problems and start focusing on how to help others, your own challenges shrink. Contribution makes you resourceful. It forces you to grow, to push, to stretch, because now it's not just about you. The greatest leaders, the happiest people, the most fulfilled souls are givers. Not givers who deplete themselves, but givers who expand themselves so they have more to pour into others. That's why contribution is the secret to unstoppable momentum. You're not running just for your own life. You're running for every life you touch. Gratitude grounds you, contribution expands you, and together they create a life of both meaning and impact. Discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. Everybody has dreams, but dreams without discipline are just fantasies. Discipline is the ability to do what you said you would do long after the emotion you made the decision and has left. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you going when you don't feel like it. Discipline builds trust with yourself. It tells your brain and body, I follow through, and that consistency creates certainty. Most people think freedom comes from doing what you want whenever you want, but that's a lie. True freedom is the result of discipline. When you control your habits stop controlling you. When you take disciplined action every single day, even when it's inconvenient, you build momentum, and momentum is power. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect in action. The moment you align your behavior with your highest standards, you no longer need to negotiate with yourself. You stop living in excuses and start living in excellence. Energy management is just as important as time management, maybe even more. You can have 24 hours in a day like everyone else, but if your energy is depleted, those hours are wasted. Energy is the fuel for achievement, and you control more of it than you think. What you eat, how you move, how you breathe, the thoughts you allow, all of these either charge your energy or drain it. High performers don't just manage tasks, they manage their state. When you master your physiology, when you prime your mind and body every day, you create peak energy on demand. Imagine showing up to your goals not exhausted and burned out, but fully alive, fully charged. That changes everything. Success is not about burning the candle at both ends until there's nothing left. It's about creating rituals and standards that keep your energy at its peak so you can deliver at your highest level, not once, but consistently. Energy is influence. Energy is impact. When you master your energy, you become magnetic, unstoppable, and able to turn possibility into reality. Gratitude is the ultimate power source because it shifts your entire perspective in an instant. You cannot feel fear, anger, or scarcity while you are truly grateful. Gratitude interrupts the pattern of lack and scarcity and replaces it with abundance. When you live in gratitude, you stop focusing on what's missing and start seeing the blessings that are already present. That shift in focus changes your emotions, and your emotions drive your actions. Most people think they'll be grateful once they succeed, once they achieve more, once life looks perfect. But gratitude doesn't wait for perfection. It creates it. Gratitude multiplies whatever you appreciate because what you focus on expands. The leaders, the high achievers, the people living fulfilled lives, they don't wait for external validation. They practice gratitude every single day. Even in pain, even in setbacks, they ask, what can I learn? What can I appreciate? That attitude transforms obstacles into opportunities, and that mindset creates unstoppable resilience. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a practice, a habit, a standard you hold yourself to. When you train your brain to look for the blessings, you condition yourself to live in joy, strength, and abundance. Giving is the secret to fulfillment. Achievement alone will never satisfy you because the human spirit doesn't grow from getting. It grows from giving. Contribution is the deepest need we all share because when you give beyond yourself, your life takes on meaning. Think about it, money, status, titles, those are temporary. But the lives you impact, the love you give, the difference you make, those ripple through eternity. The happiest, most fulfilled people on earth are not the ones who accumulate the most, but the ones who contribute the most. When you focus only on yourself, your problems feel massive. But when you serve, when you give, when you lift someone else up, your problems shrink and your heart expands. Contribution takes you from success to significance. That's why when you master giving, not as a transaction, but as a way of life, you unlock the deepest fulfillment possible. And here's the paradox: the more you give, the more life gives back to you. Contribution turns suffering into purpose, it transforms pain into progress, and it makes every day meaningful. Giving is not just something you do, it's who you become. And when you live to give, you live fully,